Okay, so that's what we plan to do. Menu-based program. It's simply writing a menu, displaying some options to the user. It is as simple as that. Okay. In very simple terms. No repetition because we're still not done loops. So you just try to give him some options from where he chooses. Based on that, we do different things. So let me take up one example. Like I talk about calculating area perimeter of circle, square, rectangle. Okay. So what I'm trying to do is calculating area perimeter both. But the option what I'm giving to the user is that whether you want it for a circle or whether you want it for a square or whether you want it for a rectangle. So based on that input, I further ask from him what requirements are there. Because in circle, I'll ask for radius only. For rectangle, I'll ask for length and breadth. For square, I'll ask for side. Okay, so inputs will vary. So accordingly, we'll just ask him, what do you want? Based on that, we'll execute it. Okay. So let's try that part. I am opening my IDLE. And so what exactly we are trying to do in this case is that we simply display a print. Display options to the user using print, as simple as that. There's no complex method for it. So we just display him certain options. So I know that here I am writing a program. So I'm putting it as a menu-driven program to calculate area and perimeter for circle, square, or rectangle. Okay, that's what we plan to do. Okay. So I'm saying simple options just showing to the user. So nothing typical about it. I will just start by writing print itself. Nothing else. So main menu, I'm just trying to put this. It can be absolutely your specification and what you want to mention to the user. Okay, but the general pattern I'm giving you. So here I'm putting him in terms of options 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So what do I tell him? That you want area perimeter of circle, square, or rectangle. So I'm just giving them that sequence first. Are you talking about a circle? And then I will be a little lazy, copy paste it, and change the content here. So I'm saying that I'm talking about the rectangle. And I will definitely change the option because I'll ask the user to enter either 1 or 2 or 3. Because when you talk about accepting text, there could be spelling mistake, there could be uppercase, lowercase issue. This would still not learn how to take the data in any format, whether uppercase or lowercase, and then utilize it the way I want it. Okay, we have to just learn a few string functions. So it's not difficult. But we have not yet done it. So I am not really talking about it as of now. So these are the 3 options I show you. Simple print menu. Okay. Now I have to ask for the input. Like, please give me your choice. Right? So for that, we have taken a variable ch. And as usual, you learn that the input being taken, and because it's going to be a number 1, 2, 3, so I have to convert it into integer. I'm expecting integer values itself, so I'm not taking float. I'm saying enter your choice. Trying to make it a little more user friendly. So I just say, okay, you have to enter either 1 or 2 or 3. Just to give him some more information. But there's no guarantee that the user will enter in this format. You may still enter something wrong. Okay. So cross validation, or you can say data validation checks and all, we may do in simple terms also and difficult terms also. Abhi hum log simple terms hi seekh rahe. So we will keep it as one of the last options of our nested if, that invalid choice. If other than this, if he enters any other number, so it will be an invalid choice. Okay, that is the message which comes. So keeping this in mind, we start by checking the options, right? So if my ch is equal to 1, that means you're talking about circle. Okay, circle ka input should be area and perimeter, your radius. So I'm storing it as in a variable called as R. Again, an input. Now radius can be float also, int also. So let's take float itself, because float will accept both int and float values, like numbers with decimal and without decimal also. So we say enter the radius of the circle. Right? I calculate the area. Now I'm doing the calculation inside if, because for all the formulas are different. So I have always told you that in the if part, try to keep the things which are unique to that option. If it's something common, like printing I will not do. Because printing to मुझे चाहे वो area circle का है or it is square or it is rectangle, I have to do it anyways. Right? So that I'll keep outside the if structure. Otherwise, I'll have to write the print statement thrice. Isn't it? Common print statement, because I'm going to keep the same variables. Either of the three options will work. The same variable will work, no problem for area parameter. Right? So that is why we try to do things which are uncommon in the if structure or the options. Otherwise, the common ones will go out of the nested if and then do it. Okay. So area as area, you may take AR also, keeping it small. In this case, my area will be pi r square. So as of now, I have to use the value of pi r directly. Into R, I may use the operator double star, get the power, or directly like this, zeroish. Now, perimeter, I'm keeping it as P only. Let my perimeter be 2 pi r. So 2 into 3.14 into r. Done? Both the calculations done. Printing, I'm not doing anything. Right? So backspace, you remember and not forgotten. So I have to write my elif below my if value. Yeah? So elif, so it's equal to 2. If my choice is 2, that means I'll talk about square. If my choice is square, I need one input, which is the side. With one side itself, my job is done, right? What's the formula for area and perimeter of my square? So I have to say that please enter the side of the square. Whichever way you want to do it. Input variable can be changed if you want to, or you may keep it same. Because again, same thing. Either this block is executed or this block is executed or the third one will be executed. So there's no problem using the same variable. Rather, for AR and P, I have to use the same variable so that when I'm keeping a common statement of printing, it works for me. I give a separate variable in the square calculation, I give a separate variable. Then I cannot put a common print statement, right? There are different print होना चाहिए कुछ, correct? So that is why I keep the set of variable as same itself, no problem. So side of square, or you may change it. You may change it to S also, just to keep it relevant to the data you're taking. Now talking about perimeter and area. So my area in the case of square will be side square, if I'm not wrong. So side into 2. So S into 2. Right? Into 2 would have been just a simple multiplication. I want the part. So side into part 3. Okay? Or side into side. Whatever. Either of the two should work. Now, perimeter. My perimeter of square is 4 into side. Because my square has all equal sides. So 4 into side. Simple. Done. Backspace. Elif. Choice equal to 3. Colon. The colon is important. When you are doing it in the environment, any of the environments you are using, the moment you press colon and enter, the indentation is automatic. Right? So here again the same thing. I want to accept the. Now in this case, rectangle I have to accept two things: length and the breadth. So I'm just copying it, and I'll make 2 pastes here. Easy my job. So I'll say enter the rectangle. I will say enter the length of the rectangle. That the inputs also look different, the variables. But L actually is something which is little deceptive. It almost looks like this thing. 1. So avoid using L in your codes because it confuses you at times. Okay. Even if you say LEN being a function, predefined function, so it's a keyword. So I should not be using LEN also. It'll create a problem. So let's keep it LE, right? And maybe VR breadth. Okay. Again, they can be in floats, so I've taken it as float only. Enter the breadth of the rectangle. So I'll change this much. And then we start with the calculation. In this case, AR is equal to my area for the rectangle is L into B. So LE into BR. I'll remove the area. And the perimeter is equal to 2 into L plus B. So 2. Now, in mathematics, the bracket itself needs multiplication. But in computers, it is not so. So you have to write the multiplication from here. Otherwise, it will give you an error. Okay. So it's LE plus BR. Right? So 2 into LE plus BR. That's my perimeter. And all the 3 calculations are done. Right? Now, if I want to put another last else, I would say that colon of course. So if the user, like how the code flow of the code will work, he'll check, suppose the user enters 5, right? So first condition false, second condition also false, third condition also false, until reach the else part. Okay. Now the problem is, if I say here print and I say invalid input, absolutely fine, no problem. It's okay. Now my problem is that, let me save the code. Something goes wrong, then I have to write it again. We're still not printed, so no output will come, right? So we are saying here menu 1 button. Let's save it. Now I'm saying that these are my options and what all I need to do in the options, right? Now the problem is that I have still not printed the output. So once I'm out of the structure, he's coming with me as AR of B, AR of B, AR of B. I will the AR of B value. Or else he may doing this invalid input also. अब invalid input में भी वो यहाँ पहुंचेगा. हम तो exit नहीं कर रहे program से है ना. Either you put that exit function, you do that. Otherwise, what will happen? I'll go here, backspace and here. Now I'm going to give the output. Chalo, print. The area is right. Now I really can't say what is the area, whether it's for square or whether it's for circle. है ना, otherwise मुझे उसको फिर check करना पड़ेगा. Choice was 1, फिर उसको ऐसे करो. This is a double word, so it doesn't make sense. So I just print area is AR. Perimeter is. अब इसमें problem क्या आएगा? If the user gives an invalid choice. Can somebody tell me? I'm saying there's some problem if in this code, if the user gives the input as 5. Can you tell me what will be the problem in my output? Before I show you the output, I'm asking you. Yes. Think. Menu displayed, choice accepted, choice given is 5 by the user. False, false, false. True. Invalid input displayed. Now out of the LF structure, these 2 statements will execute. If we execute these 2 statements, the problem is he has got no value for AR and P because none of these statements were executed. Right? They'll say that data not found, error will be there. So let us do the error first and then we'll do the way we want it. Or uska solution kya hai? Let us put up. So 4. Okay. So it should go to invalid input, right? Okay, correct. But then when it moves for printing of AR, it say AR is not equal. Because the statement never got executed. This statement or this statement or the statement never got executed. Hence, AR was not created in the memory. Right? So if the AR is not created in the memory, how will it search for it? How will it get it? Okay? So that is the problem with this. Okay. Now solution could be one thing that you do not give the else part. Let's try it this way first. मुझे देना ही नहीं ऑप्शन उस पर से. Right? Let's try this now. Then I am going to execute it like this. So my choice here is supposed to enter the side of square 3. Now you cannot write centimeter or meter or something because this is a float input, right? So it is not going to handle your string value. Perfectly fine. Correct? Let's run it once more. With a different input, maybe for rectangles.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Instead of writing at last that print the area is, we can write after each of the.
Yes, of course you can do that. That solution is obviously good.
Okay.
But if these options are suppose 10, 15, then you're unnecessarily writing it so many times.
Okay.
No? Right? So we should have some other solution to the problem. Right? Let's see what solution we can find out. Let's try this question once more, this particular code once more with some other input. Suppose the third option, length of the rectangle is 2 centimeter, breadth of the rectangle is 4 centimeter. It works absolutely fine. Okay. Now let's look for a solution. Now once we go for that issue, कि मुझे तो ये भी चाहिए. Acha. Now what happens if the user in this case, when I'm using it this way, without writing the else part, and I am giving an invalid input, तो वो क्या करता है? ठीक है, अब this is the thing. I say 5 or suppose 50. Enter. Same problem because AR is not defined. है ना? तो इसका क्या solution? Now one solution to this problem is that definitely what Arnav said, that I can take these two print statements and put it in this. Here also, here also, here also, all the 3 options. That is obviously there. Second option is that पहले इसी वाला option देंगे. चलो इसके अंदर let's put something called as exit. I've not used exit for a very long time. So let us see that whether it takes any input in the bracket or not. So I'm saying 4. So invalid input, your program is still running. Okay. You want to kill it? Yes, I want to kill it because I don't want it to execute the rest of the statements. That's one option. Second option is something interesting. I have not done it in the other sections, but I thought I'll do it today with you because we have time. There's something called as a flag character in the coding, area. Now, what is that? It is something like you are sitting at a distance of about 500 meters or 100 meters, and your friend says, please show me a flag or a ribbon or a bottle that if this is to be done or not to be done. Okay, so it's like a flag, a value which just tells you, it's meant to tell you करना है नहीं करना है. बस इतना. ठीक है? So what am I doing here is that I will just take, you can take this value at any place, beginning, middle, but obviously before you enter the if structure. So I'm taking it here. I'm saying let my Q. Okay? And I'm making it 1. You can take it true, false. You can take it true. Later change it to false. You can take it 10, make it 11. Any value you may change. एक diversion दिखाना है उसके पास. I took it 1. Now in every structure, I just change this value. Obviously, this is less of writing. That is what I'm suggesting with this. I change it to 0. So if valid options are executed or the code is able to execute the valid options, Q changes to 0. Are you getting my point? Either of 1 or 2 or 3 gets executed. Q changes to 0. Okay. Now, this printing should be done only when the value of Q is 0. If the value of Q is still 1, this printing should not be done. So if Q is equal to 1, then I should not be printing it. है ना? Because 0, 1 ही मतलब वो अंदर गया ही नहीं. So if it is 0, then do the printing. Otherwise, do not do the printing. So there will be no problem in this case. ऐसे भी कर सकते. Exit is one option, of course. This is also another option of handling this particular situation. अब इसमें क्या होगा? Suppose user says 2. तो Q का मान क्या है? That's okay. Choice 1 false, choice 2 true. This got executed, this got executed, this got executed, and Q became 0. It's like a flag change कर दिया मैंने, है ना? कि okay, my data got executed properly, so I changed the flag to 0. It could be 0 to 1, it could be 1 to 0, it could be 2 to false, it could be 10 to 12, it could be 10 to 20, कोई भी value को but आपको change करना है. You have to show the change, store the change basically, right? So I just took 1 and 0. You may take it anyway. ठीक है? It'll do this part. Second option को करा, and now the code control of the program will come directly to the if part, because else execute नहीं होगा. One of the ifs have been executed. Q is 0. Yes, Q is 0. And the code will print it. Right? Now, supposingly user says 5. Okay. It took the user choice as 5. Q को 1 किया. False, false, false. Else, correct. Invalid input, print कर दिया. बाहर आया. Is Q 0? No. No. है ना? Let's try it out. We would check this part by giving it an invalid input only. Let me give 56. Could be by mistaken, I mean, by mistake, you enter this particular input, but we are trying to tackle this issue in my program for a wrong input. Perfect. Works fine. Do you understand this? So this Q is actually called as a flag character. Flagging on, flagging off. कैसे भी समझ लो इस चीज को. I just changed the value. If you wanted to take care of the situation, that yes, it has executed, so I just changed that value. Otherwise, वो जो 1 पे था 1 पे ही रहेगा. Till then. Is it fine? This way also we can handle, or we may put an exit. Exit is also something which I mean. Is it understood?
Yes, ma'am.
That's good. I'll give you one question to go for all to try. This is what I actually wanted to pick up with. Okay. Now that we've joined up, anybody having any doubt regarding the classes we've been doing earlier? I said that I'll take up a session, but I couldn't. But anybody having any doubt can share.